The third and final dinosaur to Lost Island. A huge update for Map Fjördur. And the Ragnarok devs are working on something very special. You're right kids, it's Ras Clark and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So of course, Lost Island, the next DLC map to come to ARK Survival Evolved, free of course, and when we don't know exactly, but we do know it's coming out later this year, and my guess is possibly September or October, but there's nothing to confirm that yet. Of course, with the map, we are going to be given 3 new real-world dinosaurs, with Lost Island attempting to be the most prehistoric map we've ever had. No fantasy stuff, very dinosaur orientated. The first dinosaur announced by Wildcard is going to be the Amargasaurus, that apparently is going to be devastating against armor, apparently anything above hide. So it's encouraging you to do away with the more advanced armor such as Tech, Metal and Riot, and going back to Hide and Ghillie. There's some speculation it might break saddles, and if so, that's going to be a huge thing, but I talked more about that in a previous video and I'll leave a link in the description. Then of course we had the second creature announced, the Dinopithecus, which you, the community, voted for, and it won by just a slither, with Wildcard touting this as going to be able to throw poop grenades that are going to disable Tech. Yes, that's right, it's going to have a multitude of explosive poop options, and once again I covered this more in depth in a previous video, link in the description. Of course there's a third creature yet to be announced, with a lot of you wanting it to be the Carcharodontosaurus. With it being so close in the vote, there was barely 1% in it when the vote ended. Well, there's some speculation surrounding it could indeed be the Carcharodontosaurus. If you don't know what it is, it's set to be a carnivore that's in between the Rex and a Giga, a go-between that could potentially rival the Giga, and again, I covered this in great depth and I'll leave a link to that in the description. But of course, it raised some questions how quick the Dinopithecus artwork and abilities were turned around following the vote. It was a mere day or two after the vote ended, making people think, did they always want the Dinopithecus? Well, not exactly. The question was put to Wildcard by a Mr. Jojo. When making these creature abilities, did you make it yesterday, or did you guys make up abilities for them all, just so it would be ready for the dossier making? Craig Brown, the senior designer of Wildcard, who I've had the pleasure to speak to a lot recently, and I'll hopefully get into more detail about that in the future, replied with that they came up with very rough ideas for the candidates, for all candidates, but they didn't start refining them until they saw the clear front runners. Once it looked down to 2, they started to make plans, which they finalised the day before the community crunch. Which means not only is it very likely the Carcharodontosaurus has a model artwork made similar to the Dinopithecus, but there's most definitely a dossier that exists of the Carcharodontosaurus, of course it being to the original one that was proposed. The dossier's artwork abilities all take time to make, so there's no way this was turned around in such a quick time. It exists out there. And with a revised version of this dossier, with of course Wildcard knowing what abilities it's going to have and how it's going to look in the game, you've got to wonder if they spent all this time, all these resources into making this a thing, is it going to come to ARK? It could be a brand new planned creature from Wildcard, but it has to be said the community have been backlashing to say, come on, the vote was so close, let's get the 2 together and let's see the Carcharodontosaurus as well as the Dinopithecus. And if they spent the time to draft up this model of the Carcharodontosaurus, you've got to think, why not include it now? There seems to be no other reason than just do it. You might as well. Wildcard, you might as well. You spent all this time now to put it together, you might as well just drop it. Whether you do already have a planned third option already in the works, the community obviously want this. The vote was so incredibly close. It's 2 clear standout winners that the community obviously wants. One that was so close, that was 1%, barely 1% off winning the vote, that it certainly deserves some attention as well as the Dinopithecus. And if you made the time to put it together, just drop it in there, maybe as a 4th option if you've got a 3rd creature already. But I'm with the community on this one. I think the vote was so close, it certainly deserves to be included in the Lost Island. And hopefully it will. We'll see. What do you think? Comment below. Do you want this in the map? So Fjordur, a Nordic adventure, the mod map that I have to say is one of the most polished maps I've ever played on, including official maps. It really is a very intricate, detailed love letter built by somebody who loves ARK. And it's getting a lot of attention at the moment. Syntag, of course, arguably one of the biggest ARK YouTubers out there, is doing a playthrough right now. It's certainly a great map to play on, and I'm looking forward to playing this more myself once I'm done with Gen 2. Sadly, it is still only just a mod map, but I and many other people out there want to see this in the official roster, and it might be. We've already had it confirmed that there's going to be more maps after Lost Island, and this could possibly be the one. You never know. But the big news surrounding Fjordur is it's not just one map. It has multiple realms that you can visit as well. Well, one that you can visit at the moment, namely Jotunheim, but Nakatus, the main developer of Fjordur, has been working hard at the next two realms, and the realms are certainly maps within maps. They are huge and very, very detailed in themselves. Well, rejoice, the next realm to come to Fjordur, Vanaheim, is almost ready, and it's ready next week. Nakatus put a tweet out confirming as much, although I'm not sure if that means it's going to be ready to be downloaded or maybe just after that, but the map will be in some complete form. The realm will be in some complete form. And it really is looking even more polished, using, of course, assets from the dev kit, with seemingly some similarities in creatures and perhaps difficulty as the bog biome in Gen Part 1. And furthermore, we'll introduce the Forest Titan, with, of course, Jotunheim having the Ice Titan, Vanaheim will have the Forest Titan, as well as other creatures, including of course the Gacha, and is looking to be a very dense but beautiful forest biome. And I can hear you ask, well, if they got the Ice Titan and the Forest Titan, what about the Desert Titan? Well, there's another realm coming in the future, Valhalla, and I'm very, very excited to see this one in action, with it seeming to be a reflection of Nakatus' view of Valhalla, a grand castle in the sky overlooking Fjordur, which this picture alone sells it. I might have to use this in the thumbnail. I can't wait to see this one in action, and I think that completes the three realms of Fjordur, this being the final one, and I'm guessing is going to have the Desert Titan as well. So if you're on Steam and have the ability to play mods, I can't recommend this enough. Go check it out. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's just one of the most magnificent maps I've ever seen. So Ragnarok, you remember that map? A lot of people do. It's one of the most favoured maps in ARK, as judged by my top 10 polls, and I can see why. It's certainly a vast, varied map, offering a lot of the stuff from all of the other maps within a wonderful series of biomes and landscapes, and is quite an old map. It came out in 2017. That's a long time ago. So I'm sure a lot of players out there have been wondering, what are the devs doing that worked on Ragnarok? Well, they are working on a new map. If you didn't catch it, I recently had an interview with Up From The Depths, an old school content creator who has a lot of involvement within the modding community, and was kind enough to share with me details and videos of the new map that the Ragnarok devs are working on, namely called Apex. And I can't find a single detail about this on the web, so again, a huge shout out to Up From The Depths for passing on this information, that this map is going to offer something that we've never seen before. Seasons, ever-changing weather effects, where the biomes change, wilds come and go depending on the season, the landscape transforms depending on what weather it is. Wow. Furthermore, water pools will dry up if it's a hotter day. This is something we've never seen before in ARK, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this in action. I need to see this. I need to see it. And I know perhaps to many this doesn't seem like a lot, water disappearing, but you can't argue an ever-changing environment will be something so cool in ARK, and would certainly keep a map refreshing as it changes. The only thing we've got even close to that is during the Winter Wonderland event, whereby of course the island turns to a snowy landscape. But this would be such a different thing, an ever-changing live event. I need it in my life. So Ragnarok devs, if you watch this, please get in touch. I would love to learn more about this map, and if we might possibly see this in the future. I know this could be way off. It could even be a mod map for ARK 2 for all we know, but I would love to see this in the future. And do you? Comment below, let me know, are you excited for this? It could be so way off yet, but I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Fjordur realms. I'm looking forward to the new Lost Island. It's coming at some point. When? We don't know, but it's this year. So thanks all for tuning in. My name's Ras Clark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, peace out.